Scrooge had no reason to know the bell was once again about to toll 1, but somehow he felt he was called back to consciousness just in the nick of time for the special purpose of meeting Marley's second messenger.
But finding that he became uncomfortable wondering which of his curtains this new specter would draw back, he pulled each and every one of them open with his own hands. He wished to challenge the spirit on the moment of its arrival and did not wish to be taken by surprise.
Scrooge found himself ready for a broad field of strange appearances. So let it be known that nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much. However, being prepared for anything does not mean one is prepared for nothing.
Consequently, when the bell tolled 1 and no spirit arrived, Scrooge was overcome by a fit of violent trembling. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour went by, and still no spirit appeared. Scrooge was left to wonder what might show and when it might appear.
So wrapped up in his thought and fear, Scrooge did not see the intruding light until it was impossible not to notice. Still, once he did notice this light, it took him some time to realize that it seemed to be coming from the adjoining room. This idea taking full possession of his mind, he got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. The moment Scrooge's hand was on the door, a strange voice called from behind it.
"Oh, Scrooge! Come in there."
As soon as Scrooge opened the door, he saw that the room was still his own, of that there was no doubt, but that it had undergone a fascinating transformation. Every inch was so hung with living green, it looked a perfect grove from which bright, gleaming berries glistened. The leaves of holly, mistletoe, and ivy reflected back the light, as if so many little mirrors had been scattered there.
Heaped upon the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, suckling pigs, long wreaths of sausages, mince pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters, roasted chestnuts, cherry-cheeked apples, juicy oranges, luscious pears, and seething bowls of punch that made the chamber dim with their delicious steam. In easy state upon the couch sat a jolly goddess, glorious to see, complete with a glowing torch.
Come in and know me better, man.
Are you the second spirit?
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You have never seen the likes of me before.
Never, that is true.
Have you walked forth with other members of my family?
No, I can't say that I have.
Odd.
Have you a large family, spirit?
Only little more than 1,800.
Such a tremendous family to provide for.
Time is upon us.
Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion, and I learned lessons which are working now. Tonight, if you have something to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe.
Scrooge did as the spirit made him, and everything around them seemed to disappear. The room, the fire, the food, even the hour of the day. For as they stopped traveling, they stood outside in the middle of the busy street on what could only be Christmas morning.
The people bustling to and fro made a sort of not unpleasant music as they shuffled in the snow. The sound was added to the laughter of children having snowball fights, the harmonies of carolers singing in the distance, and the general greetings as people passed each other in the street.
Scrooge watched for what seemed like an eternity, not always getting cheer and happiness from the weather, but almost always from the people. Every once in a while, two people collided or renewed dislikes, but one wave from the spirit's torch had them laughing and forgiving differences, saying what a shame it was to quarrel on Christmas.
Is there a particular magic you sprinkle from your torch?
There is my own.
And would it apply to any on this day?
Oh, to anyone and to everyone, but to a poor one most.
Why to a poor one most?
Because they need it most.
But soon the steeples called all good people to church and chapel, and away they came. And at the same time came people carrying their dinners to the baker shops.
But soon the bakers were shut up, although one could still smell the dinners baking, and it left the spirit of cheer running through the streets.
Spirit, I wonder, why do you desire to close these establishments?
I?
Well, you seek to close these places every 7th day, and it comes to the same thing.
I see.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it has been done in your name, or at least in the name of your family.
There are some on this earth of yours who do their deeds of passion, pride, ill will, ignorance, envy, bigotry, and selfishness in our name. These people are as strange to us and all our kith and kin as if they had never lived. Remember that and charge their doings to themselves and not to us.
I'll try to remember that.
Come, I have somewhere to show you.
Where, Spirit?
Here. Don't you recognize it?
No. Wait. This is Bob Cratchit's house.
Yes.
To think Bob has but little money pocketed each week on Saturdays to take home to house and family, and yet you still bless his sad little 4-room house.
Oh, that's good of you to see.
Whatever has gotten your father and your brother? Tim and Martha went half this late last Christmas.
Here's Martha, Mother. Oh, Martha, you'll never believe the size of the goose.
Oh, bless your heart alive, my dear. How late are you?
We had a lot of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear it all away this morning.
Well, never you mind, so long as you're home now. Sit yourself down by the fire and warm up. Lord bless you.
Wait, no, Martha. Father's coming. Martha, hide. Wait.
Merry Christmas, Mother.
Merry Christmas, Father.
You're both late, you know.
Well, it was a long walk and we stopped to see the sights. Where's Martha?
She's not coming.
Not coming? On Christmas?
She had too much work to do, Father. She'll be away all day.
Here I am, Father. It was all a jest. Of course I'm here on Christmas.
Oh, Martha, couldn't you have held it at least a little longer?
No, I couldn't stand to see Father so disappointed.
Aw, you're no fun. Come on, Tim. Let's go watch the pudding come.
Peter, Martha, will you please finish setting the table for dinner?
Yes, Mother.
And how did Tiny Tim behave?
Oh, good as gold and better. He gets so thoughtful sitting there by himself all the time, and he thinks the strangest things you've ever heard. Why, today, walking home, he told me that he hoped the people in the church did see him, because he is a cripple, and he thought that it would be good for them to know who makes the blind men to see and the lame beggars walk on Christmas. He's a wonderful child, and I think he's getting a bit stronger.
We can hope, my love.
Everything smells so good.
Doesn't it?
Belinda, for heaven's sake, why is there a spoon in your mouth?
She's afraid she'll be a nuisance by asking for the goose before it's ready.
I'd rather hear you speak than see you
Is
silence.
the goose ready?
Such a one-minded girl. Always talking about food.
You can't blame her, though, with all the wonderful smells around here.
Pudding is one of my favorite parts.
I always worry about the pudding. Suppose it shouldn't be done enough. Suppose it should break while it's cooling. Suppose someone should sneak over the backyard wall and steal it off the windowsill while we enjoy the goose.
I've always wanted to do that.
Don't you dare.
Me too.
It wouldn't be right to take someone else's pudding.
The pudding will be fine. Let's help your mother with the goose. Oh, I don't believe I've ever seen a goose cooked in so well a manner or smelling so wonderful. Your biggest success yet, I think.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to eat it.
We have to give grace first, Belinda.
Can I say it, Papa?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Lord, for this wonderful day with my family. Thank you for all the love and all the happiness
We have thank my father and thank for my mother. For all my brothers and sisters and everyone in the town.
And Merry Christmas. God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Go ahead.
Spirit, tell me, will Tiny Tim live?
I see an empty seat in a poor chimney corner and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered, the child will die.
Oh no, good spirits, say that he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered, no other of my kind will find him here. What then? If he be like to die, he should do it and decrease the surplus population. Man, if you are a man, will you decide what men should live and what men should die? It may be in the sight of heaven that you are more worthless and less fit to live than this poor man's child.
Perhaps.
I give you Mr. Scrooge, founder of the feast.
Founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd given a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I'd hope you'd have good appetite for it.
My dear, the children. It's Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I'm sure. And which one drinks to their health? Such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you, poor fellow.
My dear, Christmas Day?
I'll drink to his health, for your sake, and for the day's sake, not for his. Long life to him, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
Oh, Peter, I've got a situation in mind for you, and if you're hired, you'll make 5 and 6 pence weekly.
What kind of work, Father?
Business.
Peter, a businessman?
Hush, Belinda. Be nice.
It's a good job, with set days off and everything.
Sounds great, Father.
I have all of tomorrow off.
That's wonderful.
I think you work too hard, Martha.
It's all right. I plan on spending all tomorrow lying in bed, not doing anything.
They weren't a handsome family. They weren't well dressed. Their shoes were far from being waterproof, and their clothing had seen better days long, long ago. But they were a happy family. Happy, grateful, pleased with one another, and content with the same. And as they faded from Scrooge's vision, he thought that they looked even happier than they had just moments before, especially Tiny Tim.
By this time, it had gotten dark and was snowing rather heavily, and as Scrooge made his way throughout the streets, the brightness of roaring fires, the smells of dinners baking, and the people bustling to and fro for Christmas cheering company all became part of the wonderful feelings surrounding him.
All through the evening, the Spirit showed him Christmas in as many places as Scrooge could imagine. In a mine, in a beach hut, on a ship, and on every corner of every town. Such it came as a surprise when Scrooge suddenly found himself standing outside a familiar house.
Why, it's Fred's house.
He said that Christmas was a humbug. As I live and breathe, he believed it too.
More shame for him, Fred.
He's a comical old fellow, that's the truth. And certainly is not as pleasant as he might be. However, his offenses carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
I'm sure he's very rich, Fred. Or at least you always tell me so.
Well, what of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He doesn't do any good with it, and he doesn't make himself comfortable with it, and he hasn't the satisfaction of knowing that he's ever going to benefit us with it.
I have no patience with him.
Oh, I have. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by his ill whims? Himself. Always. Here he takes it into his head to dislike us and won't even come dine with us. What's the consequence? He doesn't lose all that much of a dinner.
I beg your pardon. He loses quite the dinner.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that you think that.
Do go on, Fred.
I was saying that the consequence of his disliking us and not making merry with us is as I think that he loses some pleasant moments which could do him no harm. I'm sure that he loses companions more pleasant than those he finds with his own thoughts, either in that moldy old office or his dusty chambers. I mean to give that man the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not, for I pity him. He may rail at Christmas till he dies, but he can't help but thinking better of it. I defy him if he finds me going there year after year in good temper and saying, "Uncle Scrooge, how are you?" If it only leaves him in the vein to leave his poor clerk 50 pounds, that's something. Besides, I think I shook him yesterday.
Well, good for you, Fred, my love.
Spirit, enough of this here. Show me other Christmas merriment, but no more of this house, please.
And with that, Scrooge was whisked off to half a dozen other places where people were celebrating good cheer and love, but none could take his mind off Tiny Tim or Fred. As they traveled, Scrooge noticed a change in the Spirit. She was standing more stooped, and her hair seemed to Scrooge more gray. The Spirit noticed Scrooge staring at her.
My time on this world grows short.
Spirit so short-lived?
My time on this earth is very short. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight, and that draws near.
Spirit, forgive me. I may not be justified in what I ask, but you seem to have grown a talent. Are they yours, Spirit?
They belong to man. They cling to me, appealing from their fathers. The boy is ignorance, and the girl is want. Beware them both, and all of their degree, but most of all, beware the boy. On his brow I see nothing but doom written out. If the writing is not erased, deny it. Slander those who tell it. Admit it for your factious purposes, and make it worse. And bide the end.
Are they no refuge?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Are you the ghost of Christmas yet to come? And you are to show me things that have not happened but will happen in the time before us? Is that so, Spirit? I am slightly used to ghostly company at this point. Looking upon you, I find myself so frightened that I feel I can hardly move. My legs tremble as I speak. And now you look at me so, ghost of the future. I fear you more than any specter I've seen. But I know it is your purpose to do me good. And I wish to live to become a new man. I am prepared to bear your company and to do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? Lead on then, lead on. The night is waning fast and this is precious time for me. I understand that now. So lead on, Spirit.
And how are you?
Tip top.
Couldn't ask for a clearer sky. How do we find you this morning?
Oh, per my usual. What news is there?
Well, Old Scratch finally found his own, eh?
Well, it had to happen at some point, I suppose.
So I hear. Rather chilly, isn't it?
Seasonable for Christmas time, I suppose.
Can't argue with that.
I prefer colder. It's a good reason to sit at home by the fire with the family.
The time. I best be off.
Wouldn't want to keep you then.
Good day to you.
Good day.
Is that what I was supposed to see? I'm slightly surprised that you would attach such meaning to a conversation so trivial. But I suppose you know what you're doing, and of course you do. And the conversation I just heard must hold some key information, if only I think on it some. It couldn't be Jacob they were talking about. This is the future, and he's been dead 7 years in my time, but I can't think of anyone I know that the conversation might be about. Nonetheless, I shall remember everything I see and hear, Spirit. I will. Spirit, show me my future self, so I might better know what you show me. my corner, Spirit. I stand there every day. But that's not me, Spirit. This is even the usual time for me to be here. Oh, I know, Spirit. This future already accommodates my resolutions, the ones that I made when Jacob appeared to me 3 nights ago. I've never been to this part of the city, Spirit, but I recognize its situation. This is an area of bad repute, a place for the lower-handed dealings of those wishing to avoid the law.
Just think, to find you here, though I shouldn't be surprised.
Why should we be here?
Oh, you have to admit, ladies, the 3 of us, the laundress, the charwoman, and the housekeeper, all sneaking around the back streets carrying packs.
Doesn't leave much up to the imagination, does it? I'll bet each of you your supper that I know what's in those bags and where it came from to boot.
I'll bet you nothing, Dibbler, but I'll come out with more that way.
What have my lovelies brought me today?
Let the charwoman be first, and then me, and the housekeeper can go last. I swear, Joe, we've met here by accident.
You couldn't have met in a better place. Besides, you're not strangers to one another. You're all safe. No worries here. You're a well-matched bunch. There's no bones here as old as mine, so let's get on with it.
I'll not go first, if it's all the same.
Oh, come now. Everyone has the right to take care of themselves. You always did.
That's true indeed. No man was better at it.
Who's the wiser? It's not like we're gonna pick each other's pockets, I suppose.
No, indeed.
I should hope not.
Very well then, that's enough. Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man.
No, indeed.
If he wanted to keep them after he was dead, wicked old screw, why wasn't he more natural in his lifetime? If he had been, then he would have had someone to watch over him in his time of death, instead of lying on the cold floor in his chambers, gasping out his last dying breath alone.
A truer word was never spoken. It's a judgment on the man.
A heavy one.
You may depend on it. If I could have laid my hands on anything else. Open this bundle, Joe, and let me know the value of it. Speak it out loud and clear. I'm not afraid to be the first, nor do I care if these 2 see it. We all know very well we were there helping ourselves. It's no sin. Open the bundle, Joe.
I'll go first.
Let's see here. Pencil case. Sleeve buttons. Wax seal. A particularly ugly boot. That's your amount. That's all it's worth. I'll not give you another penny, even if you say I'm to be boiled unless I do.
I'll be next. Well, how much?
I always give too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine. That's how I ruin myself. That's your account, Dibbler. And if you ask me for another penny, I'll regret of being so liberal, and I'll knock it down by a sizable amount. Now go ask, shall we?
Fine.
What is this?
Bed curtains.
Bed curtains? You mean to say you took them down with him just lying there?
Yes.
You were born to make a fortune, and I'm sure that you'll do so, no matter what.
I certainly won't hold back. But I can get something in my hand by reaching it out. Not for the sake of such a man as he was. I promise that. Oh, take care not to get dirt on that blanket there.
His blanket?
Whose else do you think? He isn't likely to catch cold without them.
I hope we didn't have anything catching.
No worries there, Joe. I'd not stay around a man any longer than needed. I'm not all that fond of his company. And there's a shirt and pants in there that you can look over till you're blue in the face, but you won't find a single hole in any of them. They'd have been wasted if I hadn't grabbed them.
How do you mean, wasted?
They had him in them, and he was to be buried in them.
And here I thought you were worried about your soul. You're
more heartless than either of us.
If it were any other man, I'd say that was so.
No, we'll not be damned for anything we've done here.
This is the end of it, you see? That wretched fellow, why, he frightened everyone away from him when he was alive. Just so that we could all profit from the fact he's dead.
Spirit, those people, they were horrible. And I see, the case of that unhappy man might be my own. My life tends that way now. Spirit, this is a fearful place. And in leaving it, I shall not leave its lessons. Trust me. Let us go somewhere else. I understand you. And I would do it if I could. I don't have the power, Spirit. I can't do it. Spirit, if there is any person in this town who feels some emotion caused by this man's death, show me that person. Please, I beg of you.
Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Are we ruined?
No, there's hope yet.
If he relents, there is. And certainly nothing is past hope if such a miracle has happened.
He is past relenting. He is dead!
Oh, thank heavens! Forgive me, Lord.
Do you remember yesterday when I went to go see him and his housekeeper told me I wouldn't be seeing him because he was quite ill?
You said that it was most likely just an excuse to avoid having to talk to you.
That's what I thought, because he's done it before. But it turned out to be true. So true, in fact, that he was dying.
To whom will our debt be transferred?
I don't know, but by then, I'll have the money. And even if I don't, what are the chances of us getting a more merciless creditor than his successor? No. Tonight, we sleep with light hearts.
No, Spirit. Show me some tenderness connected with a death, or that headstone will haunt me forever. Why, it's Mr. Cratchit's family. They look so sad.
Go on, Peter. I can't wait anymore.
Go ahead, Peter.
And he took a child, and he placed him in the midst of them. I can't.
I'm here. I've just been caught up in everything. Where's Father?
He's not here.
He'll be back soon, though.
He'll be back soon.
Have a seat, Martha. You look tired. I'm glad you came, though.
I wouldn't miss this, Mother.
I'm glad you're here, too. It's just so...
Keep reading, Peter.
I can't. You read, Martha.
No, your voice is better than mine.
Would you like to read, Mother?
The color hurts my eyes. It's the candlelight. It makes them weak. They're getting better. I wouldn't want to show weak eyes to your father. It must be about time for him to come home now.
Past time, actually, but he's walked a bit slower these past few evenings.
He walked very fast when Tiny Tim was up on his shoulders.
Yes, he did. Very fast indeed.
I knew that, but Tim was very light, and...
Your father loved him. Said it was no trouble. No trouble at all. Wait, here comes Father.
Why, look here, it's all the people I love in the whole world together in one room where I can see them all without too much trouble.
Hello, Father.
Evening, Father.
It's nice to have the family together, especially now.
It's wonderful. Can you come back Sunday?
Sunday? You went today then, Robert?
I did. It would do you a world of good to see how green the place is. Of course, you'll be there often, but I told him I would go every Sunday. Every single one, and oh, my child. My poor, poor child. I met a man today. Coming home. Scrooge's nephew Fred, in fact, and I wouldn't be surprised if he turned out to be an angel in disguise.
What do you mean?
Well, he could see that I was down, and He asked me what was wrong. He's always been a man of great kindness and generosity towards me, so I told him.
What did he say?
Just that he was heartily sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit. Heartily sorry for your good wife. And how he knew that, I'll never know.
How did he know what?
That you were a good wife.
Everybody knows that. What else did he say, Father?
Well, he gave me his card and said if there was anything we needed that we were to reach out to him right away. It wasn't so much what he said as the way in which he said it. It was like he had known our Tim and was grieving right along with us.
Maybe he is an angel.
Well, I don't know about that, but he certainly sounds like a wonderful person.
Like you wouldn't believe, my dear. Like you wouldn't believe. He reminded me of Tim in a way.
We'll never forget Tim, will we? Never, as long as we live, no matter how far away we get from one another.
Never, Martha.
Never.
And when we think of him, we'll remember how patient and mild he was, and how even though he didn't get to talk to many people, the people he met will be changed forever by his absence.
You make me so happy. All of you.
Spirit, I feel our parting moment is at hand, and though I don't really wish to know, I fear I must. What was the name written on that headstone? Ah, there, the churchyard. A worthy place, Spirit, a worthy place. But before I draw nearer to that stone, tell me one thing, Spirit. Are these shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that might be? Man's course will foreshadow certain futures, but if the course has changed, then the future changes also. Say it is so, Spirit, please. Ebenezer Scrooge! Oh, no, Spirit, oh, no, please, hear me. I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I must have been before all this. Oh, why show me this if I have passed all hope? Oh, good Spirit, assure me I may change these shadows you have shown me. Assure me that I may alter my life. The Spirit, I will honor Christmas in my heart and keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me, and I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, show me that I may sponge the writing from the stone. No. Oh.
Scrooge then awoke back in his own bed, quite amazed at the immense normality of it all.
Yes, the bedposts, the curtains, the sheets, and the bed were all his own. Scrooge found himself alive and safe, warm and comfortable in his own house.
The best part, though, was the way he felt. The time before his was also his own, to use and amend, and to make his very own.
I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall live within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven and Christmas time be praised. I say it on my knees, Jacob, on my knees.
Scrooge flung himself to the bed and saw that the curtains were whole and that they had not been pulled down, rings and all. And suddenly, he really did believe that the things he had seen were shadows of what may be only.
His hands became busy with his clothes, tearing them, mislaying them, making them parties to all sorts of extravagance. He didn't quite know what to do with himself.
I don't know what day it is. I don't even know the month.
Scrooge flung himself to the window, opened it, and put out his head. There was no fog, no mist, just bright, clear, piping sunshine, the kind that made his heart want to dance out into the street and shout joyously to everyone who would hear.
Boy, you there, what day is it?
Me, sir?
Yes, what day is it?
Why, it's Christmas Day, sir.
Christmas Day? But I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. Of course they have. Of course they have. My fine fellow, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Oh, delightful. Do you know the poulterers around the corner?
Why, I should hope so.
Do you know if they've sold the turkey they've had hanging in the window? Not the little one, mind you, the big one.
The one as big as me?
How delightful. Yes, yes, that one.
It's not hanging in the window, sir.
Wonderful. Go and buy it for me.
What, sir?
It's no joke, lad. Go and tell them to bring it here to me. I will give them the address to which I'd like it to go. Come back with the man and I'll give you a coin. Come back in less than 5 minutes, then I'll give you 2.
Yes, sir!
The boy was off like a shot, and the sight of him flying gave Scrooge a new boost of Christmas cheer. Soon there'd be a turkey, surely the biggest that anyone had ever seen, making its way down the street to a very special house.
To Bob Cratchit I'll send it. I won't even tell him who sent it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Oh, to see the look on his face.
The hand with which Scrooge wrote Bob Cratchit's address was not a steady one, but somehow it did get written, and somehow the boy was paid as he was promised. And my, was it a turkey. It seemed that the great bird could have never stood on its own 2 legs, that they would have snapped off short in less than a minute.
When Scrooge saw the bird, he sent for a cab so that the bearer of the gift would not have to carry the great feast. Scrooge even paid and tipped the cab before it drove off for Bob Cratchit's house. He watched it turn the corner, then set off in his own direction to follow his own plans.
The streets were filled with people pouring forth, just as Scrooge had seen during his travels with Christmas present. Walking with his hands behind his back, he greeted everyone with a good morning, sir, or a Merry Christmas. And afterwards he would often say that of all the blithe sounds he had ever heard, these were the blithest to his ears.
He had not gone very far when he happened across the same 2 ladies he had met cruelly in his office the day before.
Merry Christmas, ladies.
Merry Christmas, sir.
My dear ladies, I do hope you succeeded yesterday.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, yes, that is my name. And I fear it is not a pleasant one to you. Allow me to ask your pardon, and if you would have the goodness to...
Lord bless me, are you serious, Mr. Scrooge?
Quite, and not a penny less. There are a great many back payments included in that, I'll assure you.
I don't know what to say.
Then say nothing. But come and see me. You will come and see me, won't you?
Oh, yes, of course, we will.
I thank you. I am very much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times over.
No, sir, it's I who's thankful.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Scrooge spent the day reveling in his newfound cheer. He visited the church and walked about the streets and patted children on the heads. He never dreamed that anything could have given him this much happiness.
Finally, as the afternoon rolled around, Scrooge turned his steps toward his nephew's house. He passed the front door several times before he found the courage to go and knock. The door was opened by Fred's wife, Millie.
Oh, can I help you, sir?
Is Fred home, dear?
Yes, sir. He's in the dining room. I can show you in if you'd like.
Thank you. He knows me. Fred!
Bobby! Bless my soul, Uncle Scrooge!
Yes, I've come for dinner. Will you let me in?
Let him in, Billy! It's a mercy I don't shake your arm off, Uncle!
Scrooge was at home in 5 minutes flat. Nothing could have been heartier. The evening was a wild success for Scrooge, full of wonderful company that found such a fascinating change in his actions, they found him quite fascinating. But the evening couldn't last forever, and the next morning, Scrooge found himself in his office, awaiting the company of his clerk, who was running late.
The clock struck 9, no Cratchit. 1/4 no Cratchit. Bob was a whole 18 minutes past his due when he slipped quietly in the door, hat already off, and hand ready to snatch the pen up, as if he were already making up for lost time.
Hello, then. What is the meaning of coming here at this hour in the day?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm much behind the time.
You are? Yes, I think you are. Step this way, Cratchit. Now, I'll tell you what.
Sir, I'm sorry.
I am not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer.
This has never
And
happened
therefore,
before, and I
am going to raise your salary. Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas than I've given you in many a good year. I will raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family. And we will discuss your very affairs this afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Oh, Bob, light those fires and buy another coal scuttle before you even dot another I.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more.
And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was almost a second father. He became as good a man, as good a master, and as good a friend as the town had ever seen. Some people laughed to see the change in him, but he let them laugh and cared little of it, for he was wise enough to know that some things do not happen on this globe, at which some people do not get their fill of laughter.
His own heart laughed, and that was perfectly good enough for Scrooge. He had no further intercourse with spirits, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man at all possessed that knowledge.
And may that be truly said about all of us.
God bless us, everyone!